marching to my own parade. My heart don't beat any other way. You do you and I'll do me. I'ma do my own thing. I'ma do me. I'ma do my own thing. Hey, I said, hey, I'm no good. I'ma do my own thing. I'ma do me. Hey, I said, hey, I'm no good. I'ma do my own thing. I'ma do me. I'ma do my own thing. It's been 10 years on this pavement, and I finally caught a dream. If I'm honest, it's a terrifying thing. 'Cause I feel crazy taking pictures, hearing 1,000 people scream. This is a lot for an Oklahoma kid like me. It chased me down outside of Georgia, and I was sure that I was done. Something in me would not turn around and run. I heard Lord in California, and I remembered who I was when I learned to dance with the fear that I'd been running from. And I've been scared to death of failing, scared that I'd look like a fool. And I'd rather quit than risk that I could lose. And I'm not proud of that position, no, but it's the hand that I've been dealt. But as far as I'm concerned, that hand can go to hell. Oh, yeah. It chased me down outside of Georgia, and I was sure that I was done. Something in me would not turn around and run. Oh, oh. Heard Lord in California, and I remember who I was when I learned to dance with the fear that I'd been running from. Oh, oh, yeah. No, I won't run away. No, I am not afraid. I was down outside of Georgia, so sure that I was done. But something in me would not turn around and run. Heard the Lord in California, and I remembered who I was when I learned to dance with the fear that I'd been running from. Learned to dance with the fear that I'd been running from.
Played a lot of you might win it. It's like 25 the lives that you bust out of prison. Something's in the air, something's in the air. It's like that feeling when you're just about to kill it. Take your last shot, you know you're gonna hit it. Something's in the air, something's in the air. Whoa. Something big, I feel it happening out of my control. Pushing, pulling, and it's grabbing me. Feel it in my bones like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. in the metal. And you work so hard that you knew you wouldn't settle. Hands are in the air, hands are in the air. When they hear you when you thought they wouldn't listen, it's like an anthem that the whole world's singing. Hands are in the air, hands are in the air. Whoa. Something big, I feel it happening out of my control. Pushing, pulling, and it's grabbing me. Feel it in my bones like oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Something big, I feel it happening. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Something big. Whoa. Yeah, yeah. If we stomp our feet, the ground will shake. If we clap our hands, the walls will break. Yo, so loud, won't forget our names. Cause something big is happening. Take this spark and start a fire. Raise this up, we're feeling high. They can't tell us anything. Something big is happening. Something big, I feel it happening out of my control. Pushing, pulling, and it's grabbing me. Feel it in my bones like oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Something big is happening. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Something big, I feel it happening. Oh. I should move, cause New York is getting muddy out. There's LA, but it's always kinda sunny out. And I don't wanna hurt no more. So I set my bar real low. I'm A-okay, I'm A-okay. You say it, but you just don't mean it. You're so insane, you're so insane. Shut up and just enjoy this feeling. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. But I'm way less sad. But I'm way less sad. I wake up and I'm not so mad at Twitter now. Living sucks, but it's sucking just a little now. And I don't wanna cry no more. So I set my bar real low. I'm A-okay, I'm A-okay. You say it, but you just don't mean it. You're so insane, you're so insane. Shut up and just enjoy this feeling. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. I may be wrong, I may be wrong. It's stupid, but it's all I have. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. Well, I can't fall asleep and I'm losing my mind. Cause it's 3:30 and my brain's on fire. I've been counting sheep, but the sheep all died. And I'm trying too hard, but I can't not try. Well, I can't fall asleep and I'm losing my mind. Cause it's 3:30 and my brain's on fire. I've been counting sheep, but the sheep all died. And I'm not dead yet. Counting sheep, but the sheep all died. And I'm trying.
Attention, Mountaineer family. The commencement ceremony is about to begin. At this time, please locate the nearest emergency exit. Please silence your cell phones, tablets, and other electronic devices, and turn your attention to the outstanding students who are the focus of this day. This is their moment to shine, so please give them and their many accomplishments your full attention. Now, let's get ready to welcome our graduates. Electronic devices, and turn your attention to the outstanding students who are the focus of this
For 153 years, West Virginia University has been graduating talented leaders who make our world a better place. Today, we celebrate the May 2023 graduates who continue that legacy. Please welcome the candidates for graduation from the professional and undergraduate programs in the School of Medicine. Marching behind a mint green banner are the Master of Science degree candidates in athletic training. Athletic trainers are an integral part of the sports medicine team. Athletic trainers are sports medicine professionals who prevent, evaluate, and diagnose, treat, and rehabilitate sports-related injuries and conditions. Athletic trainers are highly skilled in responding to medical trauma that occurs during sport-related activities. Marching behind a green banner are the Bachelor of Science degree candidates in Biomedical Laboratory Diagnostics from the Department of Pathology. Biomedical laboratory scientists function at the center of today's hospitals and research facilities. The two tracks are histotechnology and medical laboratory science. Biomedical laboratory scientists are part of a dynamic, continually changing profession and are essential in the diagnosis of disease and monitoring of treatment. Marching behind a silver banner are the various degree candidates in communication sciences and disorders. Graduates in communication sciences and disorders combine the behavioral and applied sciences to the communication process. The Bachelor of Science degree in communication sciences and disorders prepares individuals to pursue professional degrees that help to improve the lives and access to services for those with communication disorders. Speech-language pathologists assess and treat individuals with speech, language, cognitive, feeding, and swallowing disorders across the lifespan in educational or healthcare settings. Audiologists evaluate and treat the effects of hearing loss to improve the ability for those with hearing disorders to actively participate in their daily activities. Marching behind a green banner are the various degree candidates in exercise physiology. Exercise physiologists merge the science of human body function and structure with the science of exercise to help prevent and combat disease and encourage individuals to stay active throughout their lives. An exercise physiologist may be engaged in a new research discovery or applying research findings in ways that help someone train for the Olympics, rise above stroke complications, recover from a heart attack, or conquer the restrictions of diabetes, cancer, and aging. For exercise physiologists, it's all about preventing disease, overcoming disease limitations, and helping individuals achieve a healthier, longer, and more active life. Marching behind a copper banner are the Bachelor of Science degree candidates in Health Informatics and Information Management. Health informatics and information management professionals live at the intersection of healthcare, technology, and business. Pathways include compliance, privacy and security, data analytics, information governance, operations, and revenue cycle management. HIIM professionals are often invisible to patients, but they have a direct and valuable impact on every patient at every patient encounter by ensuring patient data is accurate, available, protected, and complete. HIIM professionals lead the way with trusted data, understanding that health information is human information. Marching behind a gold banner are the Bachelor of Science degree candidates in Immunology and Medical Microbiology from the Department of Microbiology, Immunology, and Cell Biology. Immunologists and medical microbiologists work to improve our understanding of how our bodies protect us against infections and how bacteria and viruses cause disease. Upon graduation, they can pursue careers in medicine, dentistry, or industry. Others contribute to cutting-edge research that develops improved vaccines and therapies to improve health. Marching behind a slate blue banner are the master's degree candidates in occupational therapy. Occupational therapists help people participate in the occupations or activities which individuals equate with health, well-being, security, and happiness. Occupational therapists work with people of all ages to restore their ability to do all those little things that matter most, be they work, self-care, or just having fun. Marching behind a Kelly Green banner are the master's degree candidates in health sciences in physician assistant studies. Physician assistants are licensed medical professionals dedicated to improving their patients' health and quality of life through a focus on prevention, patient education, and evidence-based treatment of medical and surgical conditions. Physician assistants play a vital role in the patient-centered healthcare team and expand access to care for patients in rural and underserved areas. Physician assistants strive to improve the healthcare experience by demonstrating compassion and respect for all in their care. Marching behind a teal blue banner are the doctoral degree candidates in physical therapy. Physical therapists are movement specialists who use a hands-on approach to help individuals conquer pain, disease, or disability through the analysis and treatment of movement-related problems. Physical therapists apply scientific principles of human movement and healing to help people of all ages and levels of fitness maintain, improve, and restore mobility and function. Physical therapists work with people to empower them to obtain or rediscover moments they dream of achieving. And now, please welcome members of the Platform Party. Dr. Samantha Scarnio Miller, Program Director of the Division of Athletic Training. Dr. Michelle Butina, Vice Chairperson of Professional Education and Director of the Program in Biomedical Laboratory Diagnostics, and Kim Feaster, Director of the Program in Histotechnology. Dr. Jane Brandel, Chairperson of the Division of Communication Sciences and Disorders, and Dr. Kimberly Mee, Associate Professor. Dr. Randy Briner, Chairperson of the Division of Exercise Physiology. Dr. John Hollander, Senior Associate Dean for Research and Graduate Education. Sally Lucci, Program Director in Health Informatics and Information Management, and Megan McDougall, Assistant Professor. Dr. John Barnett, Chairperson, and Dr. Kelly Collins, Teaching Associate Professor from the Department of Microbiology, Immunology, and Cell Biology. Dr. Steve Wheeler, Chairperson of the Division of Occupational Therapy, and Dr. Amy Burt, Director of the Professional Master's Program. Dr. Jennifer Moman, Program Director, and Forrest Olgers, Director of Clinical Education from the Program in Physician Assistant Studies. Dr. Ivan Mulligan, Chairperson, Division of Physical Therapy. Dr. Mary Beth Mandich, Vice Dean, Professional and Undergraduate Programs, School of Medicine. Members of the West Virginia University Board of Governors and Senior University Administration. Daniel E. Dawes, today's commencement speaker. Carrying the university baton, University Marshal Ilkin Bilgisu, and Chancellor and Executive Dean for Health Sciences, Dr. Clay Marsh. Please rise for the playing of our national anthem and remain standing for the alma mater. You may be seated. At this time, please welcome to the podium Chancellor and Executive Dean for Health Sciences, Dr. Clay Marsh. You may be seated.
Good afternoon.
At this time, please welcome to
Good
the podium
afternoon. Come on. This is a great event. Come on, guys. Let's bring up the energy a little bit. It is such a privileged day in the history of the university to be here with our bright and young graduates who have their life opening in front of them. And what I'd like to do in the next 5 minutes or so would just be to make some comments that I hope tie the mission of our land-grant institution with some information that might not only help our graduates live long and well, but perhaps people in our audience as well. So I asked for 10 minutes to give you between 7 and 20 extra years on your life. Fair? Okay. So we know that in the United States post-COVID, we have the lowest life expectancy than we've had in the last 2 decades. And in fact, we are about 8 years behind other countries in our same economic bracket. And the state of West Virginia has the second lowest life expectancy of any state in this country. And we trail Hawaii, which has the longest life expectancy, by about 8 years. So as we look at what we can do to live longer and better, and we look at the studies on longevity, people that live many years, that investigators have followed them for 70, 80 years, it turns out there's 3 things that are part of our core mission as a land-grant institution that are also really important in giving you more great years of life. And let me just quote the Dalai Lama, who said, there's only really 2 ways to joy and fulfillment. Number 1 is in the service to others, a land-grant foundation. And number 2, in the recognition of the deep interconnection of all things. So as we look at first, service, which is something that's near and dear to us, service gives you purpose. And in longevity studies, people that provide service and have purpose throughout their lives, on average will live 7 additional years. So just 7 years because you stay connected to your purpose and meaning in your life. The Indian poet, Rabindranath Tagore, said, "As I slept, I dreamed life is joy. I awoke and discovered life is service. I acted and behold, service is joy." Winston Churchill said, "You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give." Mother Teresa said, "Don't count numbers, help everyone individually, and start with the person closest to you." So remember, service and purpose not only fills our heart, but it also enhances our life. The second principle that we have here at West Virginia is the power of community connection. When we think about connection, we are hardwired for connection as people, because when we didn't connect to our group, our family, our community, our tribe, we died. And loneliness is an emotion that makes us go closer to our group. The Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, said the biggest epidemic, and this was before COVID, that is striking our country is the epidemic of loneliness. In 2021, a poll showed that over half of America reported feeling lonely, and young adults had twice the incidence of feeling lonely than people over 65. So deep connection's important. When we think about the root word of community, that means together as one. The root word of health, which is also the root word of heal, holy, and holistic, means whole, together. And we know that in the best longevity studies, the single most important driver of a long and happy life is the quality of the connections you have to each other. You have strong connections to people that you love and live with. You have weaker connections to people that you know. But the stronger your connections maintain throughout your life, the longer you will live and the better you will live. The third value is in how we see the world. We see the world as mountaineers. We want to go first as part of the storied legacy of our state. But let me just tell you about 3 studies quickly that can give you insight to say that if your outlook is correct, you might live 20 years longer than if your outlook isn't. That's pretty substantial. So the first study is a study called the Adverse Childhood Experience Survey. And what that said in 17,000 respondents is that people of any age that felt they had a lot of traumas in childhood had shorter lifespans and had many other medical problems. And in fact, the key to offset that is to have powerful relationships with other people who love and see you. Brad Montag, who's a children's author, said, "We each should be a somebody that makes everybody feel like a somebody." The second study is a study from Princeton University where they identified a group of Americans pre-COVID that were dying at a rate that we haven't seen since the peak of the AIDS epidemic. And they found ultimately that this was located largely in Appalachia and the Ohio Valley. And it happened because of the loss of jobs. And people became rife with despair and hopelessness. So this idea about seeing the world with gratitude, if this was your last day, how would you be spending it? How would you be appreciating the people that you come into contact with, the things that you love to do? The last study is from a Nobel Prize winner, Elizabeth Blackburn, who discovered a technique to measure telomeres so we could tell how old your body is versus how old you are by birthday age. And what Elizabeth Blackburn found out was, this was women, a study with women in San Francisco, that the more stressful you felt about your life, the faster you aged. And the difference in age between women, averaged 38 years old in San Francisco, that had the lowest scores on perception of stress and the highest scores, that women with the highest scores were 17 biological years older. And when we look at our worst county in West Virginia, McDowell County, 17 years less long-lived, lower lifespan than the best county in the country, which is in Summit County, Colorado. So if you just remember our principles of service, of connection, of positive mindset and gratitude, then you too can live long and well. And for our graduates, I want to say congratulations. You did great, you're resilient. You had COVID at your front door and got by that. And I'd like to say to each of you, whether you end up wearing the Flying WV on your shirt or your coat, or only keep it in your heart, we are always your home. We wish you the best. God bless. Thank you all.
Please welcome Dr. Mary Beth Mandich, Vice Dean for Professional and Undergraduate Programs.
Good afternoon. Last fall, one of our program leaders, Dr. Momin, texted me from a national meeting and said, "I've just heard the most amazing talk. It would be wonderful if we could have him come speak with our students." Well, never being one to let an opportunity go by, I immediately tracked him down and asked Professor Daniel Dawes if he would be our 2023 commencement speaker. And he agreed, and he stayed with us through several graduation schedule changes, so I really appreciate that. Professor Dawes is a lawyer, a widely respected healthcare and public health leader, health policy expert, educator, and researcher who's currently serving as Senior Vice President of Global Health Equity and the Executive Director of the Institute of Global Health Equity at Meharry Medical College. Prior to this, he served as executive director of the Satcher Health Leadership Institute and as a professor of health law policy and management at Morehouse School of Medicine. He is the author of 2 groundbreaking health policy books, which I can strongly recommend to you, 150 Years of Obamacare and the Political Determinants of Health. Among his many achievements, he's been instrumental in developing and negotiating many aspects of U.S. health policy and law, with an emphasis on equity. He's an elected member of the National Academy of Medicine and an elected fellow of the New York Academy of Medicine. He served as an advisor to the White House COVID-19 Health Equity Task Force and an appointed member of the CDC's Advisory Committee, where he co-chairs the CDC's health equity work and the NIH's National Advisory Council for Nursing Research. As Dr. Marsh just indicated, our national healthcare data shows distressing differences in health between subsets of the U.S. population and geographic regions of the country. The magnitude of the issues that Professor Dawes has dedicated his life towards is enormous. You today will all play a role in forming the U.S. healthcare system of the future through science, prevention, healing, and rehabilitation. You'll be required by the ethical standards of your profession to improve health for all. And so I'm so grateful to have Professor Dawes join us today to talk about this important and timely topic. Please welcome Professor Daniel Dawes.
Good afternoon, Mountaineers. Come on, I know you could do better as well. I was expecting a warm West Virginia welcome. Good afternoon. Woo! This is my first time in West Virginia, and I'm so delighted. I want to thank you, Dr. Mandich, for that very, very kind introduction. And of course, I want to thank you for allowing me to play a very small role in today's celebration of your outstanding achievements, the excellence that is produced. And of course, I want to extend my sincerest gratitude to Dr. Marsh, the Chancellor and the Executive Dean of the University's Health Sciences. It's very interesting. I just met Dr. Marsh today, and I'm amazed at how closely aligned our talks are. I'm talking about the power of your purpose, creating a healthier tomorrow. So thank you for setting that up. I also want to, of course, thank the outstanding faculty and the staff here at West Virginia University who have played pivotal roles in challenging, educating, and supporting today's graduates. So I know today is undeniably about all of you, the graduates, and I wouldn't dare do anything to try to distract from that. You have earned today, but let me first start by turning my attention to your families and loved ones who are here to celebrate today's momentous occasion. You see, as a father myself, I would be remiss if I didn't give your support system their just due and well-earned applause. So I want you to do a thing for me. Would you all stand up for a moment? All of the graduates, let's stand up. And I want you to turn to your loved ones. And I want you to give them a round of applause. Let them know how much you appreciate them. Thank you, and a special thank you to all of the mothers as we approach the eve of Mother's Day this weekend. Thank you all so much for your sacrifices and support. You know, as I look out at all of your proud faces in the audience, and even those who are perhaps expressing some relief in making it this far, I can clearly see 2 distinct groups. I see tomorrow's healthcare leaders that will shape our country's path toward a more healthy and equitable future. And I see the folks who propelled those leaders forward and who have and will continue to support them on their journey. Basically, what I see is a very good-looking group of very important, very proud people who will leave a lasting impact well beyond the city limits of Morgantown. So to all of you out there not wearing a robe today, let me personally thank you for all that you did to make today happen. I can only hope one day to sit in your same position as my children accomplish a life-changing goal of their own and achieve the same high honors that your loved ones are being celebrated for today. The degrees confirmed might not have your name printed on them, but rest assured you played a pivotal role, a vital role in getting them here, so thank you. And then, of course, I must offer my heartfelt congratulations to today's graduates and encourage all of you right now to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, right? Look around at the people sitting next to you, and I beg you to just smile a little bit. Smile, and take in all that today's ceremony has to offer. Take a pause to truly appreciate this moment. Enjoy this moment and revel in your accomplishment. What you have achieved can never, ever be taken away from you and will always set you apart in our society. But it will always require you to do more and be more for the communities that you will go on to care for. You will never again be as young and as carefree as you are on this day. So please lean in to all of today's festivities and truly know that this is about you. Everyone, myself included here, is here to celebrate your graduation as students and the beginning of your health careers as leaders. What an amazing feat you all have accomplished, as countless moments of social unrest and every form of inequality were thrust into the forefront of our nation's consciousness. What an incredible feat you accomplished under the duress of the COVID pandemic and while watching our international neighbors suffer terribly from environmental and political catastrophes. With all the challenges that you all faced during this unprecedented, often tumultuous moment in our history, you rose above every challenge, remained focused, and achieved your goal of earning a hard-fought and well-respected degree. But of course you would, right? Of course, because that is what this incredible university is known for, instilling not only top-notch education in its graduates, but also the unwillingness to give up. You see, you are leaving here well-educated, trained, and prepared to make significant and profoundly positive impacts, not only in and on our nation's healthcare system, but in the communities within which you will live and you will serve. And you could not be here at a better time, because rarely has the health and wellness of this country and those who live in it so desperately needed the skills and expertise inherent in the diversity of disciplines represented by this impressive 2023 class of graduates. You know, it seems like every day we see our communities and nation grow more divided across so many different lines. What has gotten lost during these interesting times is that we always have been and remain far more alike than different. What's also gotten lost is the simple fact that every single person, every person was born for a purpose. Now is your time to find your purpose. You are educated and ready. Your bona fides in that fact lie in the diploma you are receiving today. But when you combine it with your purpose, whatever that purpose may be, then you hold in your hand and heart your ticket to change the world for the better. Now, some of you may already know what your purpose is, and if so, congratulations. But for those like me who earned degrees and found their purpose a little bit later, don't fret, it will come to you. While I was working on my undergraduate degree, I knew then definitively that I wanted to pursue further education. But I didn't know for certain just how I would leverage further schooling. So after I graduated, I went back to my home state of Nebraska and enrolled in graduate school, which allowed me to do just that. And it was during my time as a student as I absorbed as much about health policy from my brilliant professors, from my mentors and my fellow students, as they shared and discussed with me, that my purpose began to take shape. You see, Nebraska, much like West Virginia, is a place filled with great folks, great institutions, and great opportunities to really slow down and hone your craft. I opened myself up and listened more than I spoke. I recognized the brilliance, knowledge, and new perspectives that often came from so many different people of all backgrounds and from all variety of walks of life. And I simply enjoyed being a learner at a premier institution. Now, I know that you all are part of the Big 12 Athletic Conference, and I won't hold that against you. But my time at a Big 10 school gave me the opportunity to learn just as much outside the classroom as I did inside of the classroom. And that set me up for success because it forced me to look where in the world I could make my mark. I have a sneaking suspicion all of you can say the same thing about your time here at this premier institution. Armed with a law degree and a diversity of perspectives about not only the law but life in general, I confirmed my purpose years later. I can still remember the day that I was awarded a fellowship to work on Capitol Hill for several years. I was a senior health staffer on both the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, and during those years, I focused my training on how we as a nation could not only reform, but reimagine our healthcare system, one that was built on justice and equality. I soon became passionate and relentless about finding solutions to fix our healthcare system that championed health equity and eliminating the pressing health disparities that leave tens of millions of people in poor health with little to no access to affordable, quality health care. As I look back fondly on those days on the Hill that helped crystallize what my purpose and career would be centered around, I realized that it was the diversity of perspectives and the experiences from my colleagues that helped me get there. It was my time working for the first female physician member of Congress that helped me to understand the role that the social determinants of health play on our health outcomes and our longevity. It was my colleagues with degrees from every corner of the country and every hall of academia that pushed me to look intersectionally at creative ways to advance policy. And ultimately, it was my time spent in a non-traditional role, given my educational background, that helped me discover my purpose and calling. You see, when I said earlier that I wanted you to take a moment to look at the people sitting next to you, it wasn't just so that you know who to ask for help as you throw your caps in the air later, but it was so that you can see who will help to shape your path forward. Your classmates today will be your colleagues tomorrow and your co-laborers in the fight for a brighter future in the years to come. Everyone's path, no doubt, will be different because your purpose is not something that anyone can tell you about. It is what you feel deep within you and pulses through your veins. It is where you will feel the most comfortable and also the most challenged. Some here today, of course, believe that their purpose lies in biomedical research or health informatics and systems management. For others, perhaps it lies in exercise science and athletic training, occupational, physical, or speech therapy, physician assistant studies, or another health-related career. As you charge forward and seek to find your purpose, do me this kindness. Enjoy the process and keep a healthy sense of humor, because I promise you this, there will be difficult and serious moments you encounter on your journey. But as Winston Churchill once said, you cannot deal with the most serious things in the world unless you understand the most amusing. I also want to urge you to walk toward and fulfill your purpose with integrity, with compassion and empathy for all others who walk in front of, alongside, and behind you. And let the winds of fairness, equity, and equality guide you. I also promise you this. If each of you here today does that, you will see a greater tomorrow that will exceed all our hopes and expectations, yours included. You see, the nation is looking to you as the generation that will fix the broken pieces and envision and create new ones so that all of the pieces of the fabric of this nation and its healthcare system in particular fit together better. Now, it's future leaders like you who have the bandwidth and life experiences that can help us remember our humanity and better ways to understand one another, leading in a new direction where we equally celebrate our commonalities as well as our differences. To accomplish that, we're going to need you to be health leaders who care enough, know enough, have the courage to do enough, and persevere until we have achieved the job. This, according to my dear friend and mentor, Dr. David Satcher, who was the 19th Surgeon General. Now, I know that it is an awesome and even daunting responsibility. It may seem impossible to achieve. However, if there is one takeaway from this history, our history, it's that the seemingly impossible always is possible. And your accomplishments today are proof of that. That you are sitting here in your graduation regalia is proof that you are the hopes and dreams not only of those who came long before you, but those who will need you tomorrow. And so wherever your journey to your path leads you, please recognize what is not working well in our society and in our healthcare system today. Please recognize that a healthier tomorrow, both socially and physically, will require that someone comes up with new approaches and ideas that improve the lives of everyone and not just a select few. So I have only one final question to pose to you all. Why can't that person be you? And of course, because today is your graduation day and giving you a pop quiz wouldn't be fair, I'll also give you the answer. That person is you, right? It is you. Make that a fundamental element in your purpose. And if you do, I promise you that the elation, the pride, and the incredible sense of accomplishment that you all feel in this moment will last for the rest of your lives. Let the pride that you feel today as West Virginia University Mountaineers carry you forward. I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from a great orator that I know we all know, that actually, and maybe ironically, comes from a less well-known speech of his. I'm, of course, referencing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. For many people, when they think of a speech by Dr. King, their minds immediately go to the mountaintop speech. And you, as mountaineers, would be well within your rights to etch those words into your hearts and let them guide you to your purpose. But I'd rather you ruminate on another quote of his. Dr. King once stated, of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhuman. Remember that. To that end, I want to challenge all of you to use what you have learned on this mountaintop to fight the most shocking and inhuman of all inequalities as you go into your careers and pursue your purpose. Again, I want to wish you congratulations to all of you, the class of 2023. I want to thank you for allowing me to share this very special day, and I will be bold enough to thank you in advance for what I know is coming, a greater and healthier tomorrow. Thank you all so much, and congratulations to you all. Thanks, everyone.
I will now present the students who fulfill the requirements for graduation from the professional and undergraduate programs of West Virginia University School of Medicine. I invite the marshals to begin the processional, and I invite Dr. Marsh to join me to congratulate the graduates. Present the students who fulfill the requirements for graduation from the professional and undergraduate programs of West Virginia University School of Medicine. I invite the marshals to begin the processional, and I invite Dr. Marsh to join me to congratulate the graduates.
Now presenting the graduates receiving the degree Masters of Science in Athletic Training from the School of Medicine, hooded by Program Director Dr. Samantha Scarnio Miller. Hunter Michael Robinson. Garrett Burnside. Casey Elizabeth Fairbanks. Taylor Eileen Heckert. Grace Allen McCullough. Ian Ulrich. Now presenting the graduates receiving the degree Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Laboratory Diagnostics with tracks in Medical Laboratory Science or Histotechnology, to be recognized by Dr. Michelle Butina and Kim Feaster. Sakina Fatima Ali. Dallas Ann Carter. Bailey Alexis Carol Lynch. Stephanie Ann Kamel. Tiara Nicole Jones. Morgan Annette Kish. Morgan Marie Markwart. Madeline Page Newkirk. Sienna Stump. Haley Ann Wolf. Now presenting the graduates receiving the degree Master of Science in Speech Language Pathology from the School of Medicine and hooded by Program Chairperson Dr. Jane Brandel and Dr. Kimberly Mee. Sydney Nicole Leary. Alexis Paige Arbaugh. Michaela Ajurikis. Emma LaRue Baker. Chelsea Lynn Black. Peyton Renee Brooks. Anna Beth Brown. Solana Grace Bird. Carly Faith Davis. Madison Nicole Fisher. Juliana Ray Fisher. Carly Glinsky. Emma May Goddard. Megan Marie Green. Hannah Michelle Haddix. Brittany Alexandra Jones. Audra Rochelle Knotts. Lisa Lewis. Miranda Bethany Lynn. Victoria Suzanne McKnight. Hannah Lynn Savage. Maggie Nicole Simon. Abby Catherine Singledecker. Megan Christine Stout. Natalie Jo Thorpe. Callie Tyner. Bree Maurice Warren. Alexis Ray Watkins. Olivia Ashton Wayne. Madison Paige West. Sydney Grace Whitlock. Julia Alexis Yoakum. Now presenting the graduates receiving the degree Bachelor's of Science in Communication Sciences, recognized by Program Chairperson Dr. Jane Brandel and Dr. Kimberly Mee. Rachel Elizabeth Abline. Shelby Anderson. Alexander Richard Andrews. Caitlin Marie Angelich. Bella Maria Arthur. Zachariah Jordan Backus. Alexis Brashear. Mackenzie Arden Canby. Kristen Rose Cunningham. Morgan Eileen Carey. Madison Reese Devon. Chase Durkers. Sarah Elizabeth Edwards. Rachel Lee Garrett. Hannah Grace Gibbon. Riley Harris. Emma Ray Howell. Serena Ashlyn Hunsberger. Jenna Ann Jenkins. Abigail Francis Kilcarry. Katie Klein. Sarah Kathleen Morano. Lauren Marie Meehan. Kalea Rose Malat. Jana Marie Michael. Brooklyn Dawn Milam. Rhiannon Nicole Negley. Lindsay Renee Pope. Michaela Randolph. Mia Suzanne Sandela. Kaylee Grace Sorrow. Malia Sayavong. Savannah Jean Showman. Callista Lee Smoyer. Callie Nicole Snedden. Gabriella Nicole Swope. Abigail Marie Virgin. Sierra Mae Walker. Abriana Mae White. Milena Marie Zimkoski Murray. Now presenting the graduates receiving the degree Masters of Science in Exercise Physiology and hooded by their Exercise Physiology Faculty Advisor. Amanda Bowen Barnes. Sierra Monet Bedard. Samantha Paige Bowen. Chase Clements. Savannah Louise Kincaid. Nicholas Lynn. Caitlin Paige Swartz. Now presenting the graduates receiving the degree Bachelor of Science in Exercise Physiology, to be recognized by Dr. Randy Briner, Chairperson, Division of Exercise Physiology, and Dr. John Hollander, Senior Assistant Dean for Research and Graduate Education. Nicole Marie Billy. Stephen Ball. Reagan Elaine Bennett. Daniel Michael Corley. Jennifer Renee Albus. Chance Joseph Anderson. Michaela Nicole Anderson. Christian Michael Axman. Shay Marie Babbage. Leanne Baker. Mackenzie Paige Batico. Olivia Bodine. Joseph Elijah Borneo. Mallory Bell Brown. Caitlin Mackenzie Burgess. Emily Burkholder. Caitlin Mary Kakamo. Elizabeth Alice Casey. Anna Sophia Casto. Matthew Alexander Shuiri. Ashley Clark. Ryan Michael Cohen. Nathaniel Vincent Cabellas. Elizabeth Caroline Cutler. Brooke Davidson. Carrie Elizabeth Dean. Sarah Elizabeth Deem. Paige Dixon. Ava Elizabeth Dobbs. Reese Avery Ellis. Christopher Perry Elschlager. Philip Allen England. Raquel Victoria Epler. Philip John Essenmacher. Justin Finarelli. Hamilton Christian Fletcher. Joseph B. Four. Caden Charles Averick Garland. Madison Gersper. Julia Margaret Gianni. Tyler Angelo Giorcelli. Madison Taylor Halstead. Logan Ray Handwork. Virginia Rose Hanson. Grant William Harmon. Sophia Hans Harvey. Erica Lynn Hegley. Shania Faith Henderson. Jacob Ephraim Harriet. Hannah Grace Holland. Emily Kate Holmes Hackard. Jacob Chandler Hoover. Drew Hudson. Jacob Johnston. Jordan Elizabeth Johnston. Maya Kraus. Preston Scott Legg. Sarah Elizabeth Bailey Lester. Haley Mae Mazurowski. Jessica Lynn Mazurowski. Raymond Maglione. Brianna Mikkel Malone. Caitlin Marie Mann. Maya Nicole McCutcheon. Samantha Ann Miller. Caitlin Nicole Miner. Vincenzo Adam Muccioli. Wyatt Nett. Abigail Lee Nickerson. Katie Rose Paquin. Abigail Grace Pearson. Emily Nicole Pollock. Emily Marie Postelnick. Natalie Rose Satterfield. Marley Marie Scott. Thomas James Seidel. Madison Grace Seaman. Luke Ryan Schaefer. Allison Nicole Shama. Jackson Francis Sharp. Dylan Michael Shaver. Faraz Ali Sher. Mackenzie Marie Short. Mohammed Mostafa Sissoko. Avery Flynn Skeels. Kirsten Riley Smith. Alex Snyder. Hallie Page Straight. Max Enio Seibert. Hunter Michael Temple. Vincent Michael Tierno. Allison Utter. Alexis Lauren Vuller. Joshua Allen Wagoner. Caleb Patrick Walsh. Talia Walsh. Georgia Grace White. Carly Hyla White. Justin James Williams. Kaylee Paige Woodward. Christian Joseph Young. Nicholas Ludwig Zator. Now presenting the graduates receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Health Informatics and Information Management, recognized by Program Director Sally Lucci and Assistant Professor Megan McDougall. Marlena Ashley Walker. Lauren Ashley Adu. Paxton Brooke Anderson. Caitlin Ann Beagle. Kylie Erin Blanchard. Kendra Dawn Bollinger. Alexandra Rose Carpenter. Jasmine Denise Combs. Riley Ann Cullen. Alexandra L. Eastep. Kayla Elizabeth Gilligan. Aiden Denise Hall. Brianna Danielle Hamilton. Margaret Sue Hensel. Carrie Lee Heron. Cameron Rickon Jefferson. Caitlin Jones. Spirit Leanne Kolb. Jaden Rose Leneve. Dominic Emir LaRosa. Skylar Marie List. Kristen Renee Marmol. Lauren Elizabeth McCarran. Dakota Grace McCoy. Braden Nixon. Chad Joel Nunes. Morgan Page Osborne. Taylor Ann Ramsey. Callie Jessica Schaffner. Samuel Clay Sladen. Amanda Noel Smith. Alexis Jade Stanley. Jessica Hannah Strachan. Abigail Hall Sullivan. Leah Irene Tetrick. Braylee Elizabeth Trout. Now presenting the graduates receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Immunology and Medical Microbiology, to be recognized by Program Chairperson Dr. John Barnett and Dr. Kelly Collins. Matthew Scott Hudson. Camille Ali Abbas. Ali Adel Alboadi. Chloe Elizabeth Chipman. Jonathan Taylor Duff. Jack Stephen Evans. Bailey Arena Gibson. Brianna Lynn Hott. Emily Elizabeth Lisea. Linda Ma. Rachel Sage Mangano. Olivia Rose McHugh. Jordan Ashley Means. Emma Alexandra Miller. Emily Marie Pellis. Garrett Presley Perkins. Autumn Rogers. Sabrina Ann Segan. Elena St. Pierre. Thomas William Wilkins. Michael Lewis Willis. Emily Ann Wright. Avita Yang. Now presenting the graduates receiving the degree of Master of Occupational Therapy, to be hooded by Chairperson Dr. Steve Wheeler and Dr. Amy Burt. Madison Elise Bailey. Paige Nicole Atkinson. Jordan Alexandra Bachman. Ashley Marie Baker. Brianna Taylor Baylog. Taryn Grace Benedict. Alexandra Faith Berger. Emily Madison Boyd. Emily Kathleen Butcher. Jessica Ann Butcher. Corey Ray Cantley. Emily Rose Cottrell. Haley Madison Daniels. Molly Peyton DeBone. Leah Elizabeth DeRiggi. Abigail Marie Dorsa. Karen Ann Fitzgerald. Cassie Ann Fronapple. Gracie Lane Gum. Nicole McLean Hatton. Destiny Lane Hazuga. Brianna Nicole Hagee. Olivia Morgan Hinkle. Brianna Lynn Lehman. Hannah Gabrielle Luzzi. Chandler Kane McCormick. Lindsay Nicole McGreevy. Emily Ann Morton. Emily Rose O'Brien. Riley Kate Parsons. Chloe Brianne Payne. Claire June Pinkerton. Imani Saab. Kirsten Nicole Scott. Aaron Matthew Smith. Mackenzie Ray Summers. Avery Elizabeth Rose Toms. Jolie Michelle Walton. Amanda Nicole Weller. Megan Marie Wright. Now presenting the graduates receiving the degree Master of Health Sciences in Physician Assistant Studies from the School of Medicine and hooded by Program Director Dr. Jennifer Moman and Assistant Professor Forrest Olgers. Julie Memel. Braylee Lene Bancroft. Haley Alexandra Bell. Jenny Marie Bouvert. Michaela Lee Crane. Caitlin Elizabeth Delaney. Alexa Dudding. Tyler Engel. Ellen Rachel Gieselman. Abigail Elizabeth Kaufman. Catherine Brooke Lambert. Jeremy Wayne McCarty. Michaela Elaine Meadows. Casey Mingle. Hannah Nicole Nesselroth. Jenna Nicole Ritz. Morgan Taylor Roach. Kylie Schaefer. Shabnam Shavak. Isaac Craig Smith. Lindsay Renee Thomas. Lauren Taylor Warner. Jessica Wasick. Now presenting the graduates receiving the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy, hooded by Dr. Mary Beth Mandich. Evan Michael Mathis. Alexandra Arnoldy. Jay Billiter. Amelia Lynn Branham. Sarah Marie Berkey. Tabitha Lee Craddock. Mackenzie Kathleen Durkis. Martha Joanne Ellis. Amanda Hurley Farrell. Benjamin Connor Flanagan. Shelby Suzanne Garner. Joseph Logan Grass. Hannah Lane Hobson. Jeffrey Brandon Jensen. Jeremy Lawrence Kovacs. Christy Labella. Serenity Eden Marie Lynch Bolin. Gianna Mancinelli. Perry Louisa McGee. Madison Renee Owens. Victoria Marie Fobb. Courtney Michelle Randolph. Madeline Page Rice. Fabio Romano. Kelly Suzanne Shambaugh. Morgan Alexandra Signorelli. Michaela Brooke Smith. Katie Snodgrass. Benjamin Monroe Stewart. Ronnie Lynn Taylor. Seth James Tron. Kelsey Nicole Unroe. Kyle Henry Weaver. Robert Kobe Weed. Rachel Lauren Worth. Dr. Marsh, this concludes the presentation of the candidates for graduation.
Okay, this is the money time. This is the end of the ceremony where we confer the degrees. Students, graduates from the School of Medicine, professional and undergraduate programs, please rise. This is the money time. This is the end of the ceremony. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the West Virginia University Board of Governors, I hereby confer upon you the degree for which you have been recommended, with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. As West Virginia University's newest graduates, bachelors may move the tassels to the left side of your cap as a symbol of your achievement. Parents, please join me in recognizing the class of 2023. Congratulations, students. Please stand. And so that all the graduates stand, parents stand and join in with us, please.
Graduates, university marshals will release you in an orderly manner after the platform party exits the floor.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, all my memories gather round her. Mindless lady, stranger to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, I hear her voice in the morning hours. She calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday, Lord, yesterday.